Right, I think it's fair to say that we have hit that part of the season where young players start to be given an opportunity. Whether that's because suddenly certain competitions aren't as important, whether it be due to natural rotation to protect certain players, or because of other players in the first team picking up injuries. One way or another, we are starting to see youngsters playing for Manchester United, none more so than Harry Amass. And this is a player now, with Diogo Dalot apparently injured till the end of the season. Harry Amass could suddenly get his opportunity. So, what does he bring to United? So far, Harry Amass has played a total of 186 minutes in recent times, and we saw him last weekend against Wolves, putting in a pretty impressive cameo, I would say. He had a total of 70 touches in the match, so this wasn't just a 5-minute appearance from the bench where you don't really learn anything. He played a large part of that match, and when you watch a youngster for 70 minutes, you do learn quite a lot, and of course, Harry Amass is a player that we've been following for a long time. What you always get with this young man is technical quality and technical security. A player who uses his low centre of gravity to his advantage. He uses it really effectively to protect the ball from the opposition, to shield it, but what I love is just how comfortable he is with the ball at his feet. And in particular, the fact that he's happy to use both feet when controlling the ball, but also the fact that he will use different parts of the foot. I think that's always a good sign of a good young technical player. So a player who can take the ball in this situation, let's say he's receiving the ball from the centre-back and it's moving wide, as he comes under pressure, I think it's a really good sign when defenders in particular are happy to put their studs on the ball to sort of roll the ball about a bit and work their way out of tight spaces. And whilst this wasn't on full display last weekend against Wolves, we did see it sort of briefly in this moment here. As the Wolves player comes in to apply pressure to Amass, Amass is not in an ideal situation here. But I love the comfort on the ball. Taking the ball initially on the left foot, you can't quite see it because of the quality. But Amass puts his studs on top of the ball. He sort of drags the ball back and then is more than happy using his right foot to shift the ball away from danger. And again, in terms of like a technical profile, that's a good sign. A player that is happy to use both feet to work his way out of these situations. Because what it does is it opens up the potential, or certainly the future opportunity, for him to be quite an effective problem solver himself. So when people are pressing him, when he's under pressure, he can deal with it. He can find ways to get out of that trouble, like we can see there. What we also saw in this game was an ability to move inside the pitch as well. Now again, this is something that was spoken about a lot, particularly last pre-season. We spoke about Amass's ability to move inside the pitch. And I think, again, what we see here is that ability to use different parts of the foot, different parts of the boot when controlling the ball. So this is all very left-footed from Amass, but I like the way that he is controlling the ball with the outside of his left foot. It is such a good thing if a young player can master ball control with every part of the foot. So we're talking the top of the foot, the inside, the outside, and the bottom. If you can do all of that, that's going to be a really, really good thing. Because here, it allows Harry Amass to completely sell the Wolves player a dream, to be honest. He doesn't really get close to Amass. And Amass spins inside and makes it look very, very easy. So as we saw in those clips there, Amass is happy to use both feet to control the ball, but when he's got the choice, he's always going to choose the left foot. That is certainly his preference, that is his stronger foot, and is how he likes to play. And of course, naturally, playing in a wingback system, where you are often required to hold the width on the left-hand side, that makes a lot of sense. That is something that Amass will bring to the team. The natural ability to go down the left-hand side. We all saw the instant change when Dorgu came into this position as opposed to Diogo Dalot. It sort of changed the way that United were attacking down the left-hand side, and Amass is a player that will be able to continue that for us. But I actually think you will notice the left-footedness of Amass more than we did with Dorgu, particularly when it comes to his passing. Amass is a player that I think, once he starts to grow and become more confident, and perhaps we're talking 18 months down the line here, but as he starts to develop as a player, I think we've got someone here who can be really, really useful in build-up. We've already discussed his close control, his ability to work his way out of problems, but I think his passing range is really good as well. I think he's a player, like I said, who naturally will give us certain angles in the build-up phase, whether that be passing inside the pitch like this with a little bit of disguise, which I think is important, or the natural sort of feed up the line that you get when you play a left footer. When you receive the ball on the left-hand side, you let the ball come across your body, and you just sort of feed it up the line for the player in front of you. Amass will naturally sort of have that trait to his game, if you like. Now, the Wolves game wasn't exactly perfect to capture all of this, because whilst Amass had a lot of touches, he wasn't necessarily a big part of the way that United played. You can see with his pass map, he was relatively safe, perhaps a little bit low on confidence, a little bit shy playing at Old Trafford for the first time. But I'm someone who's watched a lot of Amass, so I still feel that I can say this with a degree of confidence. Amass is a good passer, and he will bring something different to United in build-up. I think what I particularly like, though, is his aggressive passing nature. So yes, largely last weekend it was safe, But what I love is that he's still got the ability in moments to do this, to take his time, to get his head up in a deeper wing-back position here, but to get his head up and then play that clipped ball forward. And I think this is one of the reasons why he really draws Luke Shaw comparisons. This is very similar to what Luke Shaw likes to do. Pick the ball up deep, and you don't always have to drive with it. You don't always have to take people on. Sometimes you can just clip a ball into an area, into a channel. And Rasmus Højlund is absolutely someone that could benefit from that. I think Amass is slightly more aggressive than Dorgu in this sense, in terms of looking to be a bit more expressive with his passing, a little more direct at times, looking to find a way forward. And I think that's absolutely a good thing. By the way, I'm not criticising Dorgu. You guys know I like Dorgu as well, but it's just a point on Amass. Again here, he uses his sort of passing disguise to his advantage. So the opposition know that he can shape up and go down this side of the pitch. He's left-footed, so it makes sense for him to feed that ball down the line. So the Wolves defender anticipates that and sort of presses that side. That's when Amass has this extra technical quality, I think, an ability to play with disguise, because he's shaped as though he's going to go down the line, and then at the last minute he feeds the ball back inside the pitch. And again, it's that natural benefit of being left-footed on the left. It just makes life a little bit easier for you. And then Amass has the technical quality, the close control, and also the vision and the weight of pass to really make use of it all. Now, what I would like to see from Amass, if he continues to be given opportunities over the next few weeks, which I think he will, to be honest, what I would like to see from him, and what I would like to see Amorim doing, is giving him the freedom to sometimes come inside the pitch as well. Because yes, he's got the natural left-footed advantage, he can go outside, but he's actually one of the rare fullbacks that is technically gifted enough and intelligent enough on the ball to actually come inside the pitch and play in these positions. I think he can be very effective there. So I would like to see us trying to strike up a dynamic, really, if we can, in the next month or so, between Amass and Garnacho. So sometimes Garnacho is going to pick the ball up and Amass is going to fly around on the overlap, and we'll look at that in a second. But also sometimes that Amass can come inside the pitch and Garnacho can go wider. Last weekend, we saw a lot of Amass playing down the touchline, being that wide option as a wing-back. What I would love to see is more rotations on the pitch. Again, this isn't a criticism, by the way, it's just sort of an idea for the future, a way that I would like it to evolve eventually. Because I think Amass has the skill set to do this, and whilst Garnacho is our left-sided 10, I think it suits him as well, the ability to sometimes play inside, closer to goal, but sometimes to play more as a traditional winger, get a little bit wider and attack the fullback. So I think it suits them both. For the time being, though, what I think we're more likely to see is Amass arriving late into the final third, overlapping into this position, from where we saw last weekend, this man is not afraid of just crossing the ball into the box, getting it into a danger area, and asking his strikers, asking his forwards to attack the ball. It's a basic idea almost from Amass. Get the ball in the wide position, on your strong foot. There's no need to wait around. Cross it early. This is something that we've seen under Amorim, early crosses into the box, and I think it's one of the reasons why he will like Amass, because Amass wants to play those early crosses. We saw it last weekend, providing the width on the left-hand side, arriving into the space, and he doesn't hang about. He just gets the ball into the box, and this one in particular goes into a really good area. We've then got this one here, again, wide on the left-hand side. No need to mess about with it. Just get the ball into the penalty area, and this one's a really good delivery. When the ball is dropping there, on the ground there, you know you've put a good ball into the box, and there should be more Manchester United players trying to get round this ball to attack it. Amass probably should have had himself an assist in this moment, to be honest, because the delivery was good. But I think that's something he can bring to this United team for the rest of the season. Early deliveries in the penalty area, because when you do this, you ask questions of the opposition, you challenge them. But also what happens is the opposition start to learn, and they start to adapt, particularly when a young player comes into the team that they won't be as aware of. You initially give him a little bit of time, he puts a couple of good crosses into the box, so you get a little bit worried. Then what happens is defences start to sort of try and crowd him out a little bit, so they get more numbers around him to try and stop him having space to cross. But what that is always going to do is then create room for someone else, like Christian Eriksen in this position here, and then he can deliver from this area. So I think Amass put in a pretty decent performance last weekend. Again, I would like to see him playing with a bit more confidence, but it's natural for such a young player in his first start at Old Trafford, so there's nothing to worry about there. Hopefully, as he becomes a bit more confident, gets more opportunities in the first team, I think there's a really good young player there. I think the wing-back position can actually really suit him, and I would imagine he's got a lot of traits that Amorim will really, really appreciate. So I think they're going to like each other. I think they're going to get on pretty well, and Amass will continue to get opportunities, which, as Manchester United fans, that's exactly what we want to see. So I think this is a positive that we've got for the rest of the season now. Amass getting opportunities to prove himself. Hopefully he takes some of those opportunities, can then get an even bigger chance in pre-season, and then next season, who knows what could happen? Who knows what could happen? This is a football club where the youngsters get their opportunities, and if they take them, you've got every chance of becoming a Manchester United regular, which would be, it would be amazing. But in terms of, for now, we just have to sort of sit and wait, enjoy Amass's opportunities and his performances when he gets the chance, and hope he does well. But for today, we're finished there. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe, get notifications on, check out the second channel, check out the Discord, all of that stuff. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.